How are you? I know you're not here yet, but you're going to be here soon. So welcome. My name is Tori Christman, aka Tori Magoo 44 on YouTube and TikTok. And it is Tory for anybody, just so you know. And I'm trying one of these automatic backgrounds. So that's why if I move my head, see how it kind of wiggles around? That's what's happening. So we'll see. I just thought I'd try it for tonight, just for fun. So anyway, I was in Scientology for 30 years, which is a very long time. For most people, they're like, 30 years? Hey, hi, Christy. How could you be in anything for 30 years like that? That's an abusive cult. And it's like, well, first of all, the first 20 years, we had a lot of fun. It was a totally different thing. And once Miscavige took over, it kind of overnight turned into a disaster. L. Ron Hubbard died and he took over, and it just turned into a whole different thing. Not that Hubbard was all great, because he had his own stuff too. But, hey, Lauren, hi. Welcome, you guys. So anyway, there was no internet for the first 20 years. Actually, really most of the 30 years there was no internet. So we had no way, all the stuff that most people know now, we had no access to. And you can say, well, couldn't you talk to people that left? And you can't. If you do, then you're declared suppressive. And they literally declare someone suppressive. This is my SP declare. Ooh, I guess it doesn't work with this. I have this little background thing and it's kind of freaky, but I guess it won't film this. How weird is that? Well, there it got my hand. There you go. You saw a little bit of it. See, there you go. It's kind of, anyway, very weird. I probably won't do this again. It's too difficult. I am who you say I am. Thank you. Thanks for coming on, you guys. So anyway, they declare you suppressive if you talk to anyone that's declared suppressive, like I am. So no one will talk to me at all in Scientology. From day one, which was 2000, July 2000, well, they declared me they actually declared me in September of 2000, yeah. But hi, Tommy. Thank you for coming by. So anyway, it's just one of those things where you really have no access to any information. People now have so much access. It's hard to imagine, well, how could you guys stay in something like that? But we didn't know anything about it. But, the information that you all have, the vast majority of people still in Scientology don't have. Isn't that weird? I mean, my ex-husband has stayed in. He remarried and stayed in, and he doesn't know anything about all the stuff that you guys know. He knows very little. And he's OT8. He's like the top of the triangle. But does he know any of the dark side of it? No. And they're very good at keeping you from looking at that. Even if somebody said, hey, I want to tell you, you don't really know what's going on. They're like, that's why you see them go like, I got to go, and they run away. And it's like, why are they running away? But that's what happens. It's like, why can't TomCruise and others in the trap, why won't they wake up? And it's kind of like when you get in early on, and I was there when TomCruise got in, and they start building the traps. And, the first big trap is keeping Scientology working, where Hubbard said you have to stay on the path. If you get off the path, you're never going to get free. And, they have all kinds of spooky things they build into your head. So you're just sort of like, okay, no, I'm not getting on. I'm not reading that book. I'm not looking at that video. I'm not talking to them. Nope, I got to go. And they run away, and you think, what is this? But it also costs a lot of money. Like, let's say you are suppressive. Let's say I am who you say I am. Let's say I went and talked to you, and you put into my head just some things that got me thinking, maybe she's right. Maybe I should leave. Well, built into this early on is you're going to turn yourself into ethics. Does it matter to you? Not to me. Hey, hi, dude. Good to see you. Hugs, hugs. How's the cabin? So, I shouldn't have said that. It's just a joke. Yep, LOL. So let's say you put these things in my head, and now I'm like thinking, maybe she's right. Maybe I should leave. Well, what does the average Scientologist do? You turn yourself into ethics because they're the people that can fix it for you. Now, the truth is, there we know. The truth is, they don't fix it. They just suppress it. But you don't know that, and you believe them that they're the most ethical people on the planet. And hi, Dave. Welcome. Thanks for coming by. You're right. It starts with keeping Scientology working. Yeah, it's like number one. And if you don't stay on that path, the ramifications are huge. You know, because you're right away, they start cutting off anyone that is anti-Scientology. Hi, Eric. Say hi to your parents in Culver City. Thanks for coming by. So right away, they cut off anyone that's antagonistic or critical of Scientology. So pretty soon, most of your surrounding friends are very strong Scientologists that are in that's why I call it the Scientology Truman Show. Because it is just like the Truman Show. You know, you're in the show. Everyone in the show is in, the only difference in the Truman Show and real Scientology is most of the people in the Scientology Truman Show don't really know. Like in the Truman Show, everyone was in on it but Truman. But in the Scientology Truman Show, most people don't know. They really don't. So they're kind of like, really? You know, you say, yeah, my next thing is blah. And they go, oh, you're going to love it. And they go, really? I mean, it costs a lot of money. And it's like, yeah, but it's worth it. It really helped me with X, Y, and Z. And you're like, really? And they're like, oh, definitely. So the people kind of sell it to each other. That happens also. Hey, greetings from Indonesia. Wow. Hi, SVP. Cool. And hi, Magic Mermaid. I'm just going to call you. I don't know. There are almost 12,000 Jehovah's Witness churches in the United States. Wow. You didn't know that. Okay. I didn't either. Are they active, though? That's the other thing. Like Scientology says, there's, thousands and millions, but they're not. Mark Headley, and it's Terry or Janice Gillum and Mark Fisher. Yeah, and they have the side peeling the onions. And he interviewed Mark Headley today. And it's very educational. I really recommend it to everybody to listen to it. It's really, really, I mean, they were there up at Gold making these movies and stuff. Tori looks like she's doing stand-up at an improv bar. Well, okay. Oh, because of the background? I know. I just thought I'd try it out. Hey, love it. Hi. Thank you. Thank you for putting that up there, too. It's good to see all you guys. Yeah, so Dave, it always helps when you're here because you were with me. We both were in it. And Dave really helped me a lot after I left also. He's a good guy. So anyway, that's why they won't wake up, because they can't. And it's sort of like if they do, then they have to pay thousands of dollars. Like OT7, to give you an idea, if you have to get corrected on any of that, it's when in the 90s when I was in, it was $7,000 every 12 and a half hours. That's an intensive. That's why I came by. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. I really do. Yes, active 5,000 in Mexico. Wow, that's amazing. That's for Jehovah's Witnesses, right? Okay, I am who you say I am. Jehovah's Witnesses only believe 44,000 people will go to heaven. How can they get a number like that? That's so weird. Imagine the ego to think you're the best of mankind, and they are content believing 8 billion people are going to burn forever. Wow, that I could never fly with that. Hey, Moose on the Loose, hi, thanks for coming by also. 444,000. Wow, that's that you got to think, who came up with that number? And what an ego that would be, to think you can decide who's going to live and who's going to die. Not I. But luckily, just so you guys know that we're in Jehovah's Witnesses, and anyone that may be listening, I've helped get a bunch of them out. It's been really fun because they watch my videos. And the first were some young kids who said we were just laughing at you because you were goofing around. And I was showing them Mr. Anonymous, who somebody asked me recently, and here he is. Oh, good. You can see him on the thing. There you go. But they were kind of, I always started out with a little bit of kind of goofiness because there were so many people that were so heavy on it at the time. And so I thought, all right, I'll just be kind of goofy. So they said it was a Friday night and we were having beers and we were laughing about you. And then all of a sudden this one guy said, actually, we do the same stuff in Jehovah's Witnesses. It's just a different name. Because they have shunning, which Scientology has disconnection. But Jehovah's Witnesses have shunning, which is kind of the same thing. I don't think it's as bad as disconnection, but it's pretty bad. It is. So anyway, they left. They packed up and left. And more people I've talked to have written me and thanked me and said, we saw your videos. And it wasn't that my videos alone got them out, but it was the beginning of looking. It made it okay to look. You know what I mean? And that makes me happy. Anonymous, we know each other. There you go. Oh yeah, 144,000 pennies compared to how much they bring in. Oh, no, wait. I'm compared to how much they bring in. Yeah. Okay. Oh, auditors. GWT paid pennies compared to how much they bring in. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's always been a contention. No face. I asked my Jehovah's Witness husband that, what if you, ooh, that's sticky, 144,001, just nothing? Wow. What did he say? That's right, and Mr. Anonymous. Bring him back out again. I don't know if this thing takes him up to it. Oh, yeah, there he is. See? He's from Norway. See, can you see his Norwegian? I don't know if you can see it. See, he's from Norway. It's a little tricky because of this, this background that I have. Sorry, Mr. Anonymous. He was my original buddy that Andreas sent me. Someone asked if auditors get paid. Yeah, just a minute amount compared to how much they bring in. You know who really makes money, though? And I think you'll agree with me, Dave, FSMs. FSMs are field staff members. They're basically just people, they're not on staff, and they go and get more people. And towards the end, I was really ticked off at them because they never brought any new people in. They would just only work on the top of the triangle, which is the most money, getting them to donate more, do the next thing, whatever. And I talked to the execs about it, and they said, yeah, they were ticked off too, but what are they going to do? And Miscavige is pretty greedy, so there you go. Magic Cow Mermaid. Oh, yeah, 10% of thousands, yeah. But and sometimes it was 20%, remember? They would change it off. Sometimes it was, most of the time it was 10, but sometimes they'd give them 20%. And 20% of, even 10% of thousands isn't bad. You know, you get a few of those. And I had someone that I knew who just was an FSM for IAS, which they give the millions of donations, some of them. And that's a lot of money. It really is. So the guys that are in, book sales were 20%. Okay. All right. They get over 1.7 billion in donations a year, Jehovah's Witnesses, just in the States. Wow. Amazing that they're still jumping like that. I really didn't know that. All right. Montcalm Horror, I'm here. You can all relax now. Thank you. Well, that's good to know. We can all relax. I'm happy to know that. So why doesn't Tom Cruise leave? What do you really think it is? I think, for my own opinion of Tom Cruise, is he loves the power. And David Miscavige loves his power. And so that's why they're hooked in. That's what I think. You're welcome. Thank you. But that's what I think. I could be wrong, but I really don't even think he's a believer. I don't. And, he's into his acting and helping pitch the church. That sort of no exchange donation is what inspired IAS donations. Yeah. I was there the night they started that. You were in Australia. Did it come out the same night? I went across the street and I said, look, show me where it's in writing that we have to do this IAS, because I was a HASI membership, which was Hubbard Association of International Scientologists, and it was a lifetime membership. And this older woman said, "You're an auditor, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "The only people that are giving us trouble are the auditors." And I said, "That's because it was drilled in our heads for 100,000 times. If it isn't in writing, it isn't true. So where is it in writing? That's why I'm here. I want to find out." She didn't have it. And they do no charity work. None. Not at all. I think Miscavige believes he's the only one who really gets it. That's funny, Dave. Wow. I never even thought of that. Ooh, that's just spooky. Because he's so opposite that. I remember when he came to the sandcastle, I was there. He was such a jerk. It was like, God, this is the guy running the Church of Scientology. He went and tore everything off every single wall. We had all kinds of fun stuff on the walls and a big map of where all the OT7s were in the world. Ripped it up. Said, the fun's over. Tom Cruise being a diehard Scientologist is odd. Maybe he's being duped to believe his long-term success has been due to C of S. That could be. That could be. I know I had that for a long time. Not spiritually, because I was already into Taoism and Buddhism before I got into Scientology. But there were certain things that I thought they were Scientology. And then at one point I just realized, no, they're not. I got these from my parents, the skills that I had. Oh, yeah. And there used to be a ton of Hubbard writing about, we don't do no exchange donations. It's all gone now. No, I can't wait to see the new green and red volumes, Dave. Because I predicted that when they came out with the basic books. And I said, this is a test to see if the public will go along with it and see, or, will they go along with completely changing, keeping Scientology working? And they did. And I said, you know what? Because I worked with OSA and they told me as a volunteer, and they said, we need to be thought of as a real religion. That's our goal. And I thought, as long as they have the stuff that Hubbard says in some of those different policies and tech things, it's never going to happen. So when I found out they were gone, I called Bridge, Dave. I called them up. I said, I want to buy the red and green volumes. And she said, who is this? And I said, I won't say who I said. But anyway, I said a name. And she said, okay, did you do the Golden Age of Tech 2? And I didn't, but I did Golden Age of Tech 1. And we were sort of like guinea pigs, if you remember. I think you were in that. And that was just a disaster. So I said, yeah. And she said, okay, then you know. And I said, okay, so what's the deal? Yeah, the original, right. And so she said, well, they're out of all the auditing rooms and course rooms. And I said, well, what if someone's in session and they need a reference? And she said, well, we have a few printed copies of things that an auditor might need. It was so flaky. But I thought they're rewriting it. I'll bet you anything, and getting rid of anything that would make them look like they're not a real religion. Prince passed away while being Jehovah's Witness. Okay, and Michael Jackson's mom gave millions alone. Hubbard took a lot from Buddhism. That I know. And that's why I always remind people, because people go, well, how could people say it's good? But he took stuff from really, thousands of years those things have been going on. And he took those, twisted it around, added a little bit to it, and then put his name on it and said, it's mine. The only thing redeemable I find about Scientology is this self-help stuff. Well, there you go. And the self-help meaning like self-improve, like what? Hiya, Tori. Hi, antics of a mama squirrel. I am who you say I am. Well, give me an example of a self-help thing. Just curious. I always liked the communication course. I did. I came in and I already had really good communication skills from my parents. So it really wasn't that I needed it, but I needed it to understand why certain people can't communicate. And it really helped me with that. And it helped me help them be better communicators. Hi, Sieglin. Hubbard insinuates that he is the reincarnation of Buddha in the book. I know. I was at Flag when we were ordered to go to an event on OT7, and we all went, and out came these Buddhist monks in Buddhist outfits, and they said, we've decided L. Ron Hubbard is Buddha. And we all left and said, somebody paid those guys a lot of money to do that. It was really weird, really weird. But yeah, I know he does. The intro courses. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that's like the comm course is an intro course. But you know what? Like, isn't that weird? Remember, I told you that I went over there. This was, I don't know, like 2 Christmases ago. But that was when they told the guy that I was a CIA agent. And I had said to him, be careful. They lie and they hate me. And I said, and a guard's going to be here in about 2 minutes. And the guard zoomed up and I said, see? And they took him inside and he came out and he goes, wow, they really hate you. And I said, I warned you. So anyway, it was funny. And I called him the next day to make sure they didn't snag him. And he said, nah, I was going to give him $5,000. But when you told me that, and then they said you're a CIA agent, that's it. I'm going to Japan. Tori has a green screen now. No, I don't. It's just part of, I think it's part of StreamYard. You can do either like a living room set or this back wall. So, but you can see if I move around, see how it kind of blurs a little bit. That's from the thing. So it's not really a green screen. It's just part of StreamYard. There's a lot that works in Scientology simply because people think it works. That's a good point, Dave. That is a good point. You always bring good points. You're really a sharp guy. I am who you say I am. Yeah, the communication and speaking part lazily lumped into my self-help definition. Okay. I remember getting this 10 whatevers to success booklet from one of the orgs, and most of it was a ripoff. Yeah, that's the way to happiness. That's exactly what that is. I know. I have it here somewhere, but I've showed it to you before. It's exactly as a ripoff of the Ten Commandments. His eagling in rib guy. Antics, I'm not sure what you're saying. He's eagling? I don't know what that means. Toastmasters is a lot cheaper. Amen. Is that true? I did Toastmasters in Scientology. We had it at Celebrity Center, and I did it. And listen to this. They had a comedy. Did I tell you guys this? Do you want to hear this or not? I don't have to tell you if you don't want. But if you want, I can tell you. Scientology is a fish. You have to have salt, pepper, lemon, put it in the oven for 325 for run for your life, run. Good one. Good one, Antics. Hi, Sieglin. Hi, Rib Guy. Antics. I so love that hat. I know, me too. It's very popular. A lot of people like it. Do people in here believe in psychics? I truly believe I am an empath. Hi there, Antics of the Mama Squirrel. Hiya, CIA Agent Magoo. That's right. I'm an empath and a CIA agent. How's that one? Auditing is all about finding the reason for a thing. Sometimes an answer will suffice for some people. True. I told you I met 2 Julius Caesars in one day at Denny's when I first got in 1969. Scientologists used to say, we don't have the answers, but we have the questions. Good one. And we used to say, if it isn't fun, it isn't Scientology. You can't say that anymore. You can't. No way. That hat is very L. Ron Hubbard-ish. Well, that's one way of looking at it, but it's very CIA-ish, I think. No face, hiya. Antics. Yes, that's pure Hubbard. Yeah, yep. Moose. Tell us. Okay. About the Toastmasters thing? Okay. All right. Okay. So this guy was at Celebrity Center, and I had been invited to the Hubbard College, which they were trying to start once they realized the doctors all have $500 a month that they automatically have to spend on self-improvement, they really went high hog on the Hubbard College because I thought we can get this going. Then it'll be accredited. Then they'll come through us, right? So I was over there, and some Scientologist who was actually a teacher of speaking, right? And it was me and a bunch of executives that were there and this guy. And so the guy said, okay, I want everyone to get up and give a talk, like a 5-minute talk. So I got up and I gave a 5-minute talk. And he took me outside and he said, and I was kind of serious, right? Because they were businessmen. They were all in suits and everything. And I thought, so, I was like pretty straight. And he took me out in the hall and he goes, this isn't really who you are, is it? And I said, not really. And he said, tell you what, it's really boring, but I have a feeling you could be really good if you did it your way. And he said, so I want you to go back in there and do it your way. And I said, but what if that's like too offensive to them? And he said, well, I'll tell you an easy way to find out. Ask them. Say, look, I can do this really straight, or I can do it kind of in my own way, which is kind of funny, but it's up to you. And they all went, do it your way, right? So I did it. And the guy took me out in the hall afterwards and he goes, of all these people in here, you are definitely the best spokesperson here. You should really consider doing this as a profession. So that's why I got into Toastmasters, because I had heard Toastmasters was started in the early 1900s by men who were kind of, concerned about speaking up on stage and stuff like that. So they have all these little drills. So I did these drills and I'm doing it and I'm really liking it. It's really cool. It's way better than Scientology. And, it's just a regular non-Scientology thing. And so then they have a comedy. And Dave, you're probably, well, if there's any other Scientologists here, you'll know too. There's a thing called bull baiting in Scientology. And one time I had gone out to sell pretzels to make some money. And there was an old Vietnam veteran there, and he was really mean, and he was really mean to everybody that went by. And I thought, God, this guy's really nasty. And I thought, well, I just wanted to get in touch with him in case I needed a ride home. So I said, can I ask you a question? And he goes, all right, what? And I said, why do you have up all those buttons on your hat? Because it had all these buttons on their hat. And he comes over to me and he goes like this, was your father ever in the war? And I said, yes, he was. He was in the Navy. And he goes, well, then you know about the veterans. And he walks away. So anyway, this kind of went on. And finally, at the end, I said, look, either you get the hell out of here, or I'm going to personally come take your cane, and you're going to have a really hard time getting out of here. And he buzzed off, and I thought, okay, that's it. Nobody's going to buy my pretzels now because I was so mean. And everybody came over going, thank you so much. You got rid of that guy. He's always here, and he's always mean to us and our kids and stuff like that. So I knew it was a very funny story, and I would always tell it at bull baiting. People would ask me, they'd say, do this. Because I called them the sufferer. And they'd all say, do the sufferer. Come on, let me try it. And so I do the, when did you ever suffer? Oh, that's what he started with. That's right. When did you ever suffer? And I looked at him, I said, pardon me? And he goes, you never suffered. And that's when he started, was your father ever in the war? So anyway, I called it the sufferer, and everyone at CC wanted to be bull baited on the sufferer. So now I'm doing this comedy thing for the Toastmasters. And I think, you know what? I'm just going to do the sufferer because I knew it was funny. Everybody. And before I did it once and I won. And then we went to another place and I won. And now we're out on Wilshire Boulevard, and there are people like, they weren't, but they were like Eddie Murphy. They were really funny comedians. And they all do their shit. And I think, oh, God, and I got to go tell them the sufferer story. This is so embarrassing. So anyway, I get up there, I do the sufferer story. And at the end, they go, third place, second place, first place, Tori Bazazian. So now I'm going out to the airport, and this lady calls me and she says, if you win this, you're going international. That's what happens. So I said, wow. So now I bring all my friends, my family, my husband, my son, some friends. They've got a whole big round table. And but most of the people were really, really old. And so, I mean, older than me, like really, really old. And so I started and I go, he's an old man with no teeth. And I looked out there and you could see these people like, so fucking what? I don't have any teeth either. It was not funny. And it was awful. And it completely bombed out and I lost, but it was such a bummer because I finally, I won these other 3 times. So anyway, it was just funny to suffer. Being a famous person in a past life used to always get a laugh in the case supervisor office. I bet. I know, because I didn't, but a lot of people thought they were famous people. Like I said, I met the 2 Julius Caesars at Denny's. And that was weird because you can't talk about your case, see, to other Scientologists. So the one guy said, I'm Julius Caesar. And I thought, well, it's a good thing I didn't go to medical school. I would have never met Julius Caesar there. And so then I said, well, thank you very much. It was nice meeting you. And I go to another booth and I sit down and this guy goes, I had a great session. And I said, really? What happened? And he goes, I realized I'm Julius Caesar. And that's when I had this Homer Simpson bubble, like bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. But, you can't do that. So I call it in the closet. You put it in the closet, where another day I'll think about it. I can't think about it now. Okay, back to knitting, and I will be lurking. Oh, nice. Hey, there's a cult knitting lady that I put on my Facebook site. She's fantastic. the knitting cult lady, I think she's called. She's really cool. She was in the military and she was in a cult, and now she's out telling people about it. She's really cool. Anyway, happy knitting. This reality is definitely a red pill. I don't know what that means. You'll have to explain it. Antics, I'm going to reach as far left as I can. If you do the same, we'll be 2,400 miles from a handshake. That is funny. No face. I'm reaching out for you too. No face. Aw. But I don't have a very long reach. Aw. Because you've already touched. So that's good. Antics, it's the thought that counts. See? There you go. Correct, no face. Does it matter to you? Not to me. TR0 bullbait, start. Exactly. That's right. That was it. TR0 bullbait. And a lot of people have a lot of upset on that. But for me, when we were doing it back in 69, 70, 71, it was funny. I mean, people were, it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't creepy. Was it for you, Dave? How is everyone? I'm good. Hi, 49ers for life. I'm happy you guys are here. We super genius. Woo. We CS super genius. Okay. Hi. Hey, Niner. Great story. Thank you, Dave. The only one who acknowledged me. Thank you. That was one of my biggest things in the comm course, was learning about acknowledgments and watching how few people do acknowledge each other's communication. TR2 is just acknowledging someone that you heard it, or like he said, great story, Tori. That's an acknowledgement, and it kind of ends the communication. It's really good. I appreciate it. Thank you, Dave. I do. But it is shocking if you start listening. I was at a business meeting, and the owner of the company got up and he was like, I have all these new plans and this and that, and I'm going to do this. And at the end, he finishes, and not one person said anything. And I said, sounds excellent. And he just beamed. He was like so happy that somebody heard him. It's very interesting. Hi, Peter. Hi, Tori. Do you think DM will be convicted for all of his crimes? I'm more concerned about Trump being convicted of all of his crimes first, because I think his are closer that'll be convicted. I think eventually, but it's going to take some time. It is. See, what Stacy Brooks explained to me when I first left, we went to a cult conference. And I think I've told you guys this, but these young girls were locked in barrels for 2 weeks from this cult. And I mean, this story was just horrifying. I mean, for me, it was just unbelievable. And I said to Stacy, how could this possibly happen in the United States of America, in the state of Ohio? And she said, Tori, this country was founded on freedom of religion. So they protect it at all cost. And it is shocking, the stuff you're going to hear. Now that you're out, you'll hear stuff it's just unbelievable that it goes on. But that's the basis of it. I'm just waiting for the Kool-Aid man to bust through that wall behind you. No. Thank you for the laugh. Kenny Adcox. All right. Hi. Thank you for coming by. Oh, I will check for her, the cult knitting lady. Yeah, I think you'd really like her. She's knitting while she's talking about cults. I mean, she's very educated, and she's got doctorates and stuff like that, but she knows her stuff. I mean, I was like, wow, this is a cool girl to find. Hi, Moose on the loose. Does it matter to you, not to me? All right. Can he? Montcalm horror. Karen Black always gave me the creeps. Well, to me, it was a wonderful thing because I gave her that touch assist and she got her voice back after 2 hours. So, and she always promoted it to everybody that's because it was a big breakthrough for her. She got Nashville after that the next day. And so she wanted everybody to know it was something that Scientology helped her with. And I know people don't think it helps them with much, but that's definitely a success story. There's no question about it. Even though I've had some friends say, well, she was just thinking that she got her voice back. And it's like, that isn't how voices work. You know what I mean? When you lose your voice and then it comes back after 2 hours of a touch assist and whatever she was doing, which I have no idea on that. I take no credit for it. Hi, YRB. My father had a phrase, don't let them get your goat. Of course, there wasn't any underlying hypnosis along with his advice. True. Hey, Kenny. I thought the background was the brick road on L. Ron Hubbard Way at the Blue Building. Now, they don't have brick like that. You should come up sometime, Eric. You'll see it. It's kind of a gray. This isn't brown. Really? Was she odd? Was Karen Black odd? No, she was a very nice person. Oh, yeah. I used to love bull baiting back in the day. See? I know. Some people really, a lot of people really liked it. We had a lot of fun back in the day. It was just goofy. And, but I can't, if I had $1 for every person who said, okay, do the sufferer for me, and they could never get through it. It's just funny when you hear this guy go, when did you ever suffer? I just start that and people burst out laughing. It was really funny. Please continue. Tell me more. Here you go. I have a funny bull bait routine. If I do, I definitely want to hear it. We should do a thing, Dave, where, because, I can interview you. I don't know how to do it right now, but we could do it another time where, we could do the split screen thing and I can interview you. I think you can do it. I think we can. I do. Tell us now. I didn't know her just in movies. I couldn't watch her. Well, movies are one thing, but she was a very nice person, I think. And everybody I knew who knew her liked her. Oh, okay, gotcha. That might be Trump's final diversion tactic to be David Miscavige, to have David Miscavige arrested and tried. Wouldn't that be something? Oh my God. Mark, hi. Thanks for coming by. I will try to invite her, the cult knitting lady, to my next knitting stream. That'd be cool. Wow, that'd be very cool. Hey, No Face says hi, Rib Guy. In DK Canada, I just subscribed to the cult knitting lady. Good. You will like her. She's very interesting. Kool-Aid. Does it matter to you, not to me? No Face. Cult knitting lady? Has anyone checked on the cats? Oh, cool. Glad to hear Karen was nice. She was very nice. Very, very nice. Reflect in the opposite of a celebrity. Do you know what I mean? Like most celebrities they'd get their voice back and that'd be it. They would never, never, but everywhere I saw her, all around LA, she'd be like, Tori, come on over here. You got to meet my friends. And she'd introduce me to more people and tell them about the touch assist. And that's, because of that, she was able to do Nashville. And so it was kind of neat. It really was. Excuse me. Reflexology and various other forms of touch can cause improvements in the voice situation in stress Scientology or no Scientology. Yeah, exactly. Hey, JB808. Hi. Thanks for coming by. Aloha. Question, how long were you in Scientology? Me, 30 years. I'm not sure on Dave. How long were you in? I know he was in a long time. Both of us did all the way up to OT7. I think Dave did OT8. I'm not sure. You let us know, Dave. JB808, aloha, love it. Aww. YRB. As kids, it wasn't about bull baiting or didn't have any outcome other than trying not to make somebody laugh. We sat across from each other and made silly faces to see who would laugh first. That's kind of part of bull baiting. Slob. Slob never be. Okay. Bull bait. Whenever a guy was rock solid on his confronting, the ultimate test was this. You have TikTok box in your pocket. Oh, a TikTok, like real TikToks. You take the guy's watch off his wrist and you reach down, put it on the floor. Wow. You sneak the TikTok box next to it, and then you tread on the box. Oh, I see. If the guy didn't flinch, he passed. Oh, yeah, that'd be a good one, Dave. Oh, yeah. Wow. 34 years for you. And yeah, OT8. That's what I thought. I thought you were OT8. Wow. That would be a good one. That would. Oh, my God. Did I ever tell you the one about the frog? My bull baiting one that Yvonne, for anyone who didn't hear it, this businessman came in and he was very like, he sat down to he did the communication course and part of it was bull baiting. And he sat down and he was very serious in his suit. And, I tried different things, the sufferer and stuff like that. Nothing. It was like nothing, nothing, nothing. Oh, yeah. And before that, Yvonne had come up to me and said, look, nobody can get this guy to crack. Nobody. So can you please go and just see if you can do something to show him that he does have some buttons? And I said, I'll give it my best shot. I'll do what I can do. So I sit down and he's very serious and he's just like, and so I try a few things. He doesn't blink. He doesn't move. He doesn't wiggle, nothing. He certainly doesn't laugh. And so all of a sudden I think, okay, sit back, Tori. Just look at him. So I look at him, and he had a kind of a big round face. And all of a sudden I go like this. Frogs. And he bursts out laughing. The guy just bursts out laughing. And I said, okay, flunk. Start. I go like this. Frogs. And I just kept doing that over and over. And finally he goes, okay, time out, time out. How did you know? And I said, how did I know what? I didn't know anything. I just thought he kind of looked like a frog. So I said that. I didn't want to tell him that, though, but that's what happened. And I said, what? And he said, I used to wear a little frog in Central Park, and I would go around and talk to the kids with the frog. And I said, that's really sweet. I said, okay, back to the drill. And we did. And then he was a Scientologist forever. It was like, frog is the best icebreaker ever. I know. It was really wild. Really wild. Oh my God, Dave. I'd love to hear your story, man. I think he just told it right above. Is that the one you meant, Dave? Where he's bull baiting whenever a guy was rock solid on his confronting, the ultimate test was this. You would have the TikTok box in your pocket. You'd take the guy's watch off his wrist and you'd reach down, put it on the floor. You'd sneak the TikTok box next to it. Then you tread on the box. Oh my God. If the guy didn't flinch, he passed. Yeah, that would be a tricky one. Oh, especially if it was a really nice watch and you hear it going. That's funny, Dave. Frog is the best icebreaker ever. Yeah. I posted most of it on Scientology message board where I used to monkey or panda terminant. No, wait, what is it? Termit. Panda. I just remember you as Panda. Termint. Ribbit. Yeah. Dave G wants a fly. I think he meant oh yeah, definitely. Well, we can do if you want to do the interview, we can do it. We can definitely do it. It'd be really fun. I'd love to hear you talk too. Now, I remember you, Panda. You were Namaste. I remember you on that, Sieglin. Yep. Hi. Yeah, I remember you. Yeah. Amazing times, those past times. All right, kids. Well, Dave, send me a message if you want to do it, if you do, and when would be a good time. Sorry, just got back. Yes, Dave, your whole story, I'm very interested. Me too. Me too. I would love to do an interview with you. Antics of Mama Squirrel. We could do everybody here. I looked up at the cult knitting lady. She has a very big channel. So it is unlikely she will have availability, but I just sent her an email and subbed, asked her to join one of my knitting streams. Good. I'd love to hear Dave's story. Yeah, me too. I think we all would. So you just let me know when is a good time for you, Dave, and we'll do it. Well, thank you everyone for coming by here. I'm going to end off now because it's super hot here and I've got to turn on my air conditioning or I'm going to boil to death. I'm going to melt. I'm melting. All right. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for coming by. Dave, let me know when's a good time for you when we could. I mean, obviously, it seems like this is a good time for you, but let me know what day and then I'll send you an invitation. And there we go. That'll be fun. Bye to all of you. Have fun. Tomorrow is what? Thursday. All right, Weight Watcher Day. You're welcome, Sieglin. Thank you. Thank you for coming by. DK Canada, No Face. Thank you, guys. Bye, Tori. I'll message you in a day or two. Okay, good. And the best thing is send it, if you can, either Facebook private message or text, because I'm really bad at emails. Okay, I'll watch the replay. Thanks, Tori, and Love It. Yeah, thank you, Love It, for being the moderator. And thank you all for coming. All right, so today is Wednesday night. So I will see you, I think, Friday night. I might have to do something, but I'll try to be here on Friday night. All right, and Dave, you let me know when's a good time. All right. The Rib Guy, I hope you're good. JB808, Rib Guy 808. All right, good night to you guys. I'm going to hit end stream. Thank you again. I'll see you Friday. Bye.